Computer, yeah, do that. Welcome everybody to Friday at 420. My name is Mike Neighbors, your host from Funny 820. Thank you so much for joining us on this another Zoom edition of Friday at 420. And so far, we are awaiting one of our regular panelists. He is running late, obviously very busy during this pandemic, doing God knows what. But we are ready to roll with our good friend Manolo Santanos. How are you, Manoli?
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. What would you just did a little twist there? What are you unmuting or something?
I wanted to see your name and then I had to take a second to remember it. So I'm always on a delay.
All right.
Honestly.
Well, we've worked together a fair amount. I would hope you remember my name. And joining us from just north of New York City, we are so pleased to have him on the show again. He was here once before when he was playing Levity Comedy Club, and we have him back. Everybody welcome Yannis Pappas. How are you, Yannis?
Good to be back. Good to see my old friend Manoli. I always like seeing Manoli. It always puts me in a good mood. We're the two most non-Greek people you know.
It's true.
Don't you think that's true, Manolis?
Yeah, it's very true.
We're the Greek community's disappointments right here. We don't speak Greek. Well, you know, we didn't go to Greek school. We don't own restaurants. We don't own our own business, and we do comedy for a living. I mean, it's a disgrace.
Oh, two of the black sheep of their own families.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
Well, it's great to see you again, Yannis. Before we jump into the game, and I know we had a lot of fun last time we played this game with you. I want to get your take on things because you are north of New York City. Now, you were in New York City for the longest time, and then just recently made the move to North Westchester, got yourself out of the city, and the timing, you say, could not be better.
It could not be better. It was my timing was as good as my timing was bad the last time I came to Hamilton in the dead of fucking January. Wait, can I curse on here? I don't remember.
That's okay. No cursing.
I don't curse. Yeah, I apologize, Justin Trudeau. I apologize. But, yeah, my timing was so good because we bought a house outside of New York in the beginning of March. Like the timing almost looked like we were in on the virus and we knew something and fled. That's how good the timing was.
That's amazing. And you know what? Much like an episode of Friends. I mean, you're like Monica and Chandler. You moved from the city out to Westchester.
Yeah, we moved. We did it. We moved out. We came to Westchester, and I grew up in New York, Brooklyn, my whole life. So this is a big change for me. That I don't have to worry about like drug addicts and murderers. I got to worry about like ant problems and foxes. So it was a hard adjustment because I have PTSD from living in the city. So the first night I was here, somebody set off some fireworks. And I thought there was an active shooter situation on my block. I hit the deck. I was crawling in my garage. I wish that was a joke, but it's true.
I bet you would.
I was crawling in the garage like this. I was on the phone with my friend who lives like a block over. He didn't pick up, so I'm like, oh, my God, they got Paul. I thought he was dead, you know?
That is, it is awesome to have you with us for the show. Talk to me a little bit. I know we're having a lot of fun. But talk to me a little bit about how tough it's been in New York. Because, I mean, New York got hit way worse than just about any other place. We don't know what that's like. Talk to me about what it's like to be a person sort of in and amongst that, have a lot of friends in and amongst that mess, man.
Yeah, I still have an apartment in New York that I go to that we're kind of slowly converting to a studio.
That's cool.
Our podcast history, Hyenas, is going well. So we're building a studio there. So I've been going and building a studio there. And it kind of looks like downtown Hamilton right now. You know what that means? It means it's not a good scene. Because Hamilton is a great city if they burn it down and rebuild it.
Yannis has been to Hamilton how many times? 5?
I've been to Hamilton one too many times.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Look, if you go to Hamilton, just make sure it's not in January or February. Because I know you got strict gun laws, but I had a real high desire to seek out a 6-shooter and squeeze one in the back of my head.
Remember we coming on off the highway and you're like, it was the middle of the winter because he was headlining Levity and you're like, what the hell is this? Remember you're like just shocked.
Yeah, it looked like Wuhan. a couple months ago. That's what it looks like. Yeah, so I love Hamilton. The people are great, but I mean, goddamn, put a coat of paint on those buildings or something. No, it looks kind of desolate. It looks kind of like I Am Legend. It's very desolate. There's no people around. The traffic is kind of cleared up. You know, I hate to say it, but you know, the silver lining is you could definitely get cross town in less than 10 minutes now.
Well, yeah, no kidding, eh?
Yeah.
Hey, there he is. Patrick Coppolino's joining the party.
There he is. Look at it. Look at him. Look at him. The proprietor. Do you still own Levity, or are you just full-time Manolis's handler now?
Yes, that's it now.
So if I want to buy tickets to watch Manolis do something, like, you know, because I talk to you. You're the ticket holder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We bring you into his dad's basement and we watch him do stuff.
Manoli, how's your pops? He still doing good?
Oh, he's good. He's yelling at something. He's probably yelling at a squirrel right now.
Well, listen, boys, since we finally got everybody together, let's get a topic going. I've got the Plinko board is over here, right there, and I am going to find a topic for, topic number 8 for Yannis Pappas on this edition of Friday at 420 Zoom edition. Yannis, your first topic. You're in Northwestchester now. You might have a little bit of yard space. Would you like to own a swimming pool? Are you a swimming pool guy?
I am not a swimming pool guy to own. I think that's strictly a visiting. That's a visiting thing. Yeah. I will pretend to be your friend if you have a swimming pool.
Sure.
In fact, I have 3 people I hate who I pretend to like, just so in the summer I could go to their swimming pool and don't have to deal with all the regulations and fears that come with the dangers of a swimming pool. Swimming pool is not to be owned.
And now you have a baby on the way, which is congratulations. First of all, you're going to have a baby in October.
People are surprised. I mean, they had me pegged for a gay kid, but I proved them wrong, and I got the flesh to prove it.
Do you think you could change your mind if you had a kid that a pool for a couple of kids is a pretty sweet deal?
Not anymore. You know, in the Greek culture, you know, if this was like 1,000+ years ago, maybe if it comes out a girl, I would throw it in the pool, you know, because it's not worth as much as guys. I mean, that's the old Spartan culture. I mean, you wait to see that comes out and you're going like, all right, let's spin the wheel again, you know?
Let's do that. All right, Manolo Santano, so you a pool guy? Would you like to own a swimming pool?
I would love to own a swimming pool, yeah.
You were a lifeguard.
I was a lifeguard for years. I didn't have I never had an access to my own swimming pool, but I was like in charge of the pool, so I had keys, and it was just like the 90s, and I used to talk to girls like, hey, you want to go swimming? And they're like, what do you mean? And I would take them back to my swimming pool at like 3 a.m.
Manolis, why do you look like a guy who's going to sell me an aquarium right now? Why do you look like you own a goldfish store?
Goldfish? Yannis, do you know I got your invitation for the wedding like 2 months after the wedding?
Yeah, he came to my wedding with white sports socks on. It was a black tie event. He came with a flamingo suit and white sports socks. And then he didn't have a ride to the reception, so he rode with the wedding party. So everyone in the wedding party was just looking at a guy with yellow glasses taking cell phone pictures going, who's he? And I say, don't worry, that's my cousin. He's a little different.
Oh. I called Rory Scovel yesterday. I didn't understand how house party worked, and I joined into this conversation he was having with his 2 sisters.
You weren't invited?
I was invited. I thought, I could talk to Rory. Hit join. He's like, what the hell are you doing? He says to me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm so embarrassed. I didn't understand how this works.
What, did you try to sell him a goldfish?
Yeah, I tried.
I mean, am I wrong? Doesn't he look like he's got aquariums for sale?
Yeah, he does.
Dr. Coppolino, are you a swimming pool guy? Would you own a swimming pool?
If I had a house, yes. I can't fit one in my apartment, but I have a bathtub that I fit in.
You got to get the house first.
My old apartment had one of those like old Victorian bathtubs with the feet, and I didn't fit in it properly. So I and the ceiling was like on an angle above it, so you couldn't put a shower in there. So every time I had to bathe myself, I had to like awkwardly climb into this tub, and my legs would hang over the side. And so I bathed like maybe once a week if I was lucky. So yes, I would like to have a pool that I fit in.
That's the short answer. All right. I've already plinkoed. This one's for Manolis. Manolis, your topic on Friday at 4:20 with Yannis Pappas. Something that scares you. Tell me something that scares you. I want you legitimately scared.
Scared? Right after you have sex and you realize you want to leave and you don't know what to say to get out of there.
That's the scariest.
You're like, what have I done? You just don't know what to do. Or I skydived once, and that was pretty scary. That may be a little bit more scary.
Yeah.
When you jump out of a plane, and like for the first time, and like it was one of those ones where he pulls the chute out as you jump out, so it's already kind of opening up, but it's like very slow while it's happening in your brain. But you're watching the plane fly away is one of the craziest moments of your life. You're like, oh. You're like, I hope this works. And then it works. And then you're like you realize you're way too high in the air to be held by these two pieces of string, that it feels like this pieces of string now on your shoulders. I'm like, this is not safe. You're like, it's wild. It's wild, dude.
I fear that the plane is coming back to get you. So yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, you're thinking it's over, and then like you finally land, and you have this moment where you feel like you could do anything, literally.
Yannis Pappas, something that legitimately scares you.
Something that legitimately scares me. I'm gonna have to go with COVID-19 at the moment. I mean,
Top of mind awareness.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that little squeak virus, the little pipsqueak virus that's chasing us all around. Definitely a little scary right now. It's amazing to think that the smallest thing has crippled the global economy. This is good news for short people everywhere. You can do it.
That's the takeaway, is it?
It is. I'm telling you, shorter people just. They want it more. The smaller the thing, the more they want it. Like, it's just insecurity breeds a lot of energy, and it motivates. It's an underestimated motivator to have a Napoleon complex. And there's nothing smaller than a virus. Virus does a lot of damage. Think about it. It just wants to live like everybody else.
Yeah.
And it's spreading because it's ambitious, because it has a Napoleon concept. It's like guys with small pieces. They do a lot of damage in the world because they look down when they go to the bathroom and they just are not happy with what they see. So they got to compensate for it. Mosquitoes also. Who kills more humans than mosquitoes? People are always scared of the big guy. The big guy's not doing anything. He's confident. You got to be scared of the little pipsqueak in the corner who's hatching a plan to try to climb up on someone's shoulders and conquer the world. I'm scared of COVID-19, that little pipsqueak.
Yeah. You know what? That's an excellent view of how things are working out. Let me ask you this.
I'm also scared of getting deported to Hamilton.
We'd love to have you.
Let me ask you this, Yannis, because you probably don't see much about the news about what's happening up here in Hamilton, but the United States, you guys are really starting to fracture a little bit in your reaction to this little pipsqueak virus, right? I mean, you've got the people who are trying to be protective, and then the other people who are kind of going with Trump and like, we want everything open and our liberty and everything. That has to be a little bit scary as far as a reaction. We don't have that here in Canada.
No, yeah, we have separated. We've broken into two extreme groups, and nothing really in the middle will do. It's like there's no nuance anymore. You're either over here. And yeah, that we've politicized the virus is just one more indication that our empire is indeed over.
We're just waiting on it.
You know what I've been doing with this quarantine is I've been learning Chinese, and I recommend it to everybody because that's going to be the new lingua franca in like 4, 3, 2, 1. I mean, we are done. We are done. So, I mean, recently our president's in Twitter wars. He's in Twitter. He gets in Twitter wars on the regular, not once, not one time. He does it like every day. So it's like It's a known thing, but like when you pull back, you just got to realize, like all empires, we're in that Nero Caligula phase where, like, you know, it's over. It's over, Johnny.
You think he'll be president again?
I hope so.
Let's just expedite the process.
I hope so, because the other option only is like, you know, Logan Paul or The Rock or a Kardashian. We're not going back to a normal candidate after this. What are you, crazy? Nobody's got the attention span after him. The guy is a bona fide star. There's nobody funnier than the President of the United States. The kid is hilarious.
That's coming from Yannis Pappas, an actual stand-up comic. He knows comedy, people. Patrick Capolino, give me something that legitimately scares you.
Besides the fact that, besides your energy, which is that your energy is like you just got into a fight with your girlfriend and signed on right now. Your energy is like right before you signed on, your girlfriend was like, I'm leaving. And you're like, damn, I got to do the Zoom call. Let me just be preoccupied for 30 minutes with where my life's going to be after it's done.
Were you here? I guess, honestly, I guess the biggest thing is, I guess as a father, which Yannis, you'll soon feel, maybe you feel it now, but I never feared death until I became a father. And now
do you mean Friends with Manolis, where you had to take care of him?
Yeah, that's more like a stepfather thing. It's not the same.
Gotcha.
But Mike, you're a dad. Yannis, you're going to be a dad. And Manolis, you don't have anybody, so you don't have to worry about this so much. But
Manolis' dad's upstairs.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm always now the concept of dying bothers me a lot more, that I have someone to leave behind. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'll raise your daughter if you die.
Yeah.
We're going for another topic. This one for Manolis. Your topic on Friday at 4:20. Tell me the restaurant you missed the most. What's the restaurant you missed the most?
Tally Ho.
Tally Ho. That's a local Hamilton restaurant, Yannis.
Yeah.
Is that the one we went to and did the show from? What was the one we did the show from?
That was from Levity.
Levity. No. The restaurant was Levity?
No. Anchor Bar.
Anchor Bar.
Yeah.
Anchor Bar is good too, but yeah, Tally Ho is it's just a great place if you got the munchies. It's the only one on earth. They didn't franchise it at all.
No,
Yeah.
It's the only one. Yannis Pappas, tell me a restaurant that you missed the most since COVID locked you up in your house.
I'm going to go with Don Angie in Manhattan. It's a restaurant that's run by a husband and wife, and it's so good. Italian restaurant. I mean, it's Italian. I mean, if the restaurant you don't miss is Italian, then you don't know. I mean, what do you miss? As El Salvadorian restaurant that you used to go to on Wednesday? I mean, whatever answer, it better be an Italian restaurant, because Italian is the best cuisine by far.
Well,
I don't miss my favorite Norwegian food spot right now.
It's funny because I'm of Dutch descent, and my kid, I remember my kid asked me at some point, Dad, why aren't there Dutch restaurants? And I'm like, no, there's no Dutch restaurants. Nobody wants to eat what Dutch people eat.
Yeah, it's all Southern European has got the food. Northern European has like everything else together. Everything else good is Northern European.
Patrick Capolino, here's your opportunity for the Levity Comedy Club Anchor Bar plug, if you want. What restaurant do you miss the most in lockdown?
McDonald's. Yeah, I missed the wings at Levity and Anchor Bar, but I am Italian, so I still get that food all the time at home. So I miss August 8th, all you can eat sushi, downtown Hamilton.
That's a good one.
Yeah, sushi's good.
Even that.
Sushi's number 2 for me. I like sushi's number. If I were to make a list, I'd go
Italian,
sushi, and then Greek after that.
Yeah. Oh, the Greeks are gonna kill you. What? Hey!
I mean, yeah. I mean, is there anyone who seriously doesn't consider Italian food number 1?
Number 1 for me.
I love Greek food in Greece.
But would you put it over Italian food?
I would, yeah.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
I love Greek food. Well, I mean, in Greece. If I was in Greece, I'm like, it's the best.
Okay. How about in North America where you live?
Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, maybe I probably would pick Italian or sushi. In Canada, it doesn't matter. Like, you go to a Greek restaurant, it's not like when you compare it to actually eating in Greece, it's night and day.
All right, Yannis, this next topic is going to be for you. But before we get to that, I want to find out a little more about your podcast. Talk to me a little bit about History Hyenas.
History Hyenas, it's a podcast where we talk about history, kinda. We just Google on Wikipedia and talk about something historical that interests us. It's really doing well. And if you haven't listened, give it a listen. If you like a wild ride, it's me and comedian Chris Steph at a morning show we do now called Wep on the Morning, every morning live. So you can catch that as well. And just go follow go take a peek. History Hyenas. You'll enjoy it. It's a comedy show, but we do history topics.
Yannis Pappas, History Hyenas. Check it out anywhere podcasts are served up. It is very funny. It's interesting because your next topic, and I didn't even know about History Hyenas when I came up with this topic, but this one for you, Yannis, is tell me a famous moment in history that you wish you could have witnessed in person.
I really wish I could have witnessed Jesus walking around, like during let's say I don't know, when he marched in let's say when he flipped the tables. I would have liked to see that.
Went to the money pit.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that. I would have just liked to see that, because then I would have just I would have killed him and then watched the body for 2 weeks and been like, he didn't go anywhere, guys. He's still not. I just would have watched him decay, and I would have also had, do I have my future phone with me too? If it was in my pocket, if I went back in time? Yeah, so I would record it. I'd punch him. I'd say, see, he's human. He's human. And then I would just keep recording his dead body as worms started eating it, and there'd be no Christianity, and a lot of little boys wouldn't have had some big problems with people in robes.
Oh, wow. You know what? You're solving a lot of problems there, brother.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize. I can't remember if this is G, PG, Canadian, R. I don't know. Manolis is here, so I'm assuming it's a children's show.
Hey, you're fine, buddy.
Okay.
Manolis, give me a moment in history you wish you could have witnessed in person.
I don't know why I'm so curious, but I would love to see the pyramids being built and then just to solve that situation, like how they did it.
The aliens.
The aliens. I want to watch the aliens build a pyramid. I think that'd be pretty wild.
That would be.
Yeah, I think that happened. Or the other thing I would like to do is go back in time just before my dad impregnated my mom to have me. I just don't do it. Just trust me, everything is going to be, you're going to have a better life if you just don't do this.
You'll be able to use your basement as an actual gym.
Thank God you continued the sentence after go back to watch my dad impregnate my mom.
Well, about to. They're not there. Just the moment before they're gonna not just put it in. I mean before they go in the bedroom, and I just could talk to them. I'm like, listen, I'm your future son. You're gonna have a better life if you just don't do this. I think I'm right. I think there's a good chance he could, if that happened, he would thank me somehow.
Patrick Capolino, give me a moment in history you wish you could have witnessed.
I don't know how long I'd last, but any time when the dinosaurs were still here.
Oh, a dinosaur guy.
That'd be really fun. That'd be a good way to go, too.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Excellent. When you guys are dealing with those moments in history, Yannis, on History Hyenas, are you randomly picking, or are you picking based on the day and something that happened on that day in history?
We randomly pick. We a lot of times fans will give us suggestions of things that they want to hear about, and we'll do it that way. Other times it's just things that we'll read or things we always wanted to know, and we'll look into it ourselves and come up with it. And I love doing it because it's really reinvigorated my love for history, and we get to. It's fun for the fans because they get to casually kind of. They got to learn history while they're laughing, so there's no pressure, and it's fun.
I love that idea. And there's so many really cool things that many of us don't know about history. I think schools could do such a better job of bringing history to life and having fun with history, because there's amazing stories there. And there's a lot of people walking around the planet don't have a clue that Yannis Pappas killed Jesus.
Exactly. And when you do history as you're a comedian, you got no pressure to stick to the what actually happened, which makes it fun. People, yes, a few people have been like, hey, you guys, they fact correct us. And I go, you know, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the whole point of the podcast is to not give you what really happened. I mean, who cares, guy? Who cares? There's no quiz.
Love the fact checkers. All right, I just went. It's Manoli's turn. We only have Yannis for a couple more minutes before you got to take off, Yannis. So I want to get your. He's got. I got Yannis.
I'll stay a few minutes longer. Let's push it.
Well, you let me know when you got to take off, brother.
Right.
So I recently received a note at the radio station, and it was a very heartfelt plea from somebody who wrote a very extensive, long paragraph about the fact that George Carlin is the greatest comedian of all time. And this is a popular thing in sports, right? They call them GOATs, the greatest of all time. Tiger Woods, is he the greatest? Michael Jordan. So I thought I want to throw it up to you guys. I want your guys' take on, is George Carlin the greatest of all time? And if not, who do you believe? Not who your favorite is, but who you believe the greatest comedian of all time is. And this is obviously a debatable fact, but Manolis, I'll start with you. Who is the greatest of all time, if not George Carlin?
I would say for me, because it blew my mind when I saw him. I didn't even understand it was comedy, but I would say Eddie Murphy, Delirious. It was what really got me going, holy cow, this is crazy and exciting and amazing. And then I think there's something really about, I know he kind of faded, but Sam Kinison, like when he came out of the gate, was something like I think he just kind of changed everything a bit, you know?
He did change the whole landscape, didn't he?
I mean, Carlin was cool though. You can't say he wasn't cool, but he definitely wasn't my favorite, if that makes sense.
Yannis Pappas, your turn on this question. The greatest of all time, whether he's your favorite or not, I wasn't really interested in your favorite as much as who maybe had the greatest impact, who was overall the greatest comedian of all time. Yannis, do you have an opinion on that?
That's a tough one. I don't know if I can do single, but I'm going to go with who I think was the most naturally talented and maybe the greatest. I'm going to go Jackie Gleason. A lot of people would overlook Jackie Gleason.
No way.
I would go Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie.
Yeah. The guy was a typhoon, just a typhoon of hilarity. You know, at one point he was nicknamed the Great One by Bob Hope. I mean, one of his sketches from the Jackie Gleason show became one of the classics of all time. It wasn't even popular when it was on the air. And then people found it later and how funny and genius it was. He would walk in, he'd read the script once. In an era when you had to get it right because production was expensive, he'd only read it once, no rehearsal, let's go. And obviously he was the star of the show and nailed it every time. The guy was just a bona fide genius, effortless. Drinking 40 scotches before a set in Jersey, 15 steaks, 5 packs of cigarettes. He didn't care. He was born for it.
Jackie Gleason is an excellent answer and one that not many people would probably have maybe even thought of. Patrick Coppolino, you want to share the greatest of all time?
For me, it's, every time I talk about him, it's not a popular opinion anymore, but I think Louis C.K., for me personally, he's awesome, and he changed the landscape too in terms of, like, he was one of the first guys to pump out a new special every year and do like the direct to consumer with the specials and just content alone. His brain works like nobody else that I could think of.
One of the people that that crossed my mind when I was thinking about it, and I'm not even necessarily a huge fan of his comedy. But when you think about the impact his comedy had, the impact he had on other comics, in both in his style and how he performed, and how much he helped other comics, including Sam Kinison, you got to give your hat off to Rodney Dangerfield. I mean, Rodney Dangerfield, 40 years, impacted and changed comedy on a regular basis, and gave Sam Kinison a huge lift up, right?
Oh yeah, made him. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't. It's it's so subjective. There's so many great ones, but yeah, those are all good ones. Those Louis and Rodney Dangerfield are good ones.
All right.
And Eddie, obviously.
And Eddie, Eddie. Yeah, I'm looking forward. He's not back with it? He's got a new comedy special coming, doesn't he, to Netflix soon?
I think he's doing one. Yeah, I think
No.
the $100 million they gave him probably convinced him maybe give it one more go.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that would make Manolis's day.
Do you know Jackie Gleason has jazz albums, Yannis?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the guy was brilliant. He was the natural. Think about it. Bob Hope at the time was the biggest comedian in the world, probably in the country for sure. Jackie Gleason's nickname was given by Bob Hope, and it was the Great One. It was like he was someone you were just in awe of. His charisma, his personality. He was a natural. It was a God-given talent.
And the timing, when you watch him on those TV shows, his timing was just, and there, look at, there's the Jackie Gleason. There's a picture of Jackie Gleason right there. How sweet it is. Wow, that's very cool. Is that autographed, Manolis?
I autographed it.
All right, it's Patrick Coppolino's turn. Here's a quick one. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Neither. I've never watched either of them.
What? No way.
I know more characters from Star Wars, but beyond that, I know nothing about either one of them.
No interest in science fiction at all, brother?
No, not really.
Ah, Manolis?
Star Wars. Star Wars is so ahead of his time. They invented the whole genre in porn, where it's like brother and sister liking each other. That starts with Star Wars.
Yeah, there's a whole Pornhub channel dedicated to Star Wars now.
I've never heard that. Manolis, I don't see the connection at all between Star Wars and incest. I just don't see it, bud. I don't know if my brain's a little slow, but I missed that one.
You don't remember when they made out and then they found out after the fact?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, like, oh, we're brother and sister. Oh, I guess we'll just pretend that never happened.
Yeah, but everyone else was shocked, but when Manolis found out they were related, he's like, "Oh, now this is getting hot." This is.
I'll tell you this, but they continued.
Yannis Pappas, Star Wars or Star Trek?
I'm going Star Trek. Star Trek. Yeah, ahead of its time. Star Wars is, I think, more like for kids, and I think Star Trek is for adults. It's like, yeah, Captain Kirk, the kid. He ended up doing Priceline commercials. That's more real to me. That's more real. A guy's a star. Then, he gets bloated after drinking too much booze. He gets a toupee and he does Priceline commercials because that's the real trajectory of life. And I don't like illusions. I like the reality. Captain Kirk now tells me where I could get discounted hotel rooms. And that's what life is. One day I'm going to be putting on a wig and saying my character's catchphrase for $50 in Long Island. That's how it goes.
Yannis Pappas on this edition of Friday at 420 Zoom edition. We got time for one more, Yannis?
Absolutely, sir.
We'll give you one more. This one's for Yannis Pappas. Something or someone that's overrated. Something or someone that's overrated. It just annoys you to no end that everybody in the world thinks this thing is awesome.
I'm gonna go stand-up comedy.
That's good.
I mean, it really stinks. I mean, it's like, what are we doing at this point? We're just kind of standing up there talking to you. It's time we step it up a little bit. You've heard every premise, you've seen everything. It's time for us to graduate to sort of live sex shows with jokes, something a little more. We've been desensitized to the guy standing up there telling you about his day. We've heard it all. I want to see Manolis take his shirt off. I want to see him do a little belly button dance, something beyond just the jokes. That's what I'm talking about.
Ew, what is that?
That's what I'm talking about. We're at the end of a civilization. It's all been done. I want to see a Greek man pregnant on Zoom.
Manolis just showed us his belly. Oh my!
Patrick, what is that?
Yeah.
Well, your belly button lit up like pure white for a second. I don't know what happened there.
It's lint.
I don't even think you should be allowed to do comedy unless you're trans. And only trans people should be allowed to do comedy. I've heard everything I have to say. I've heard everything women have had to say. I'm sick of it. I want to hear the perspective of someone who switched at the fucking 50-yard line. Sorry.
We'll cut it out later.
Yeah, what's it like to be a girl that used to be a boy trying to find love? That's what I want to know.
Well, Yannis was going on his little rant there. I was thinking about Manolis because I remember seeing Manolis one night and he did this whole bit on anal beads, and I thought, wouldn't it be great if then he just suddenly turned around, dropped his pants, and pulled them out? I mean, then you'd have a punchline, right?
And you get yourself a little article in the Hamilton, Ontario Gazette, my friend.
It can happen. I haven't tried anal beads myself, but I mean,
a qualifier there. Manolis, give me something or someone that's overrated, something that you think everybody loves and you're like, this is just ridiculous. Why do people love this?
I think relationships are overrated. I think the idea like you have to be with, like, I love the idea of having a girlfriend, or I love the idea of love, but I also think like I am so busy using up my time for so many other things, and sometimes I think in my head of like, if I had a girlfriend right now, I'd be screwed.
Should I show them all the "call me, I'm bored" texts you send me all the time with all the time you have?
Well, I only read 2 pages a day. Then I have spare time.
Oh, yeah. That takes about 6 hours of your day. So that's.
I mean, like, once I'm done with porn, yeah, like things get a little bit more boring. I'm not gonna lie, or I might be drunk on rye at that point, and it's late at night. All right, you jerk. But no, I think I would like to find love, but I think I'm not in a hurry for it. So like, I think it's I don't know. I think life is I think life is easier without it.
Dude, okay. Take your time. I mean, you got plenty of time. You're only 67. Just don't worry, Manolis. There's plenty of time ahead, dude.
I'm 50. I'm going to be 50 July 21st.
You're young, man. You're so young. Don't worry about it.
I was going to say, I think Manolis is in a relationship with Patrick, so I don't think it's against relationships. Patrick, tell me something or someone that's overrated.
Star Wars and Star Trek. I don't get it.
Well, you know what? That's very, you know, you got a point there.
And those fans are hardcore too. I remember when one of the movies came out, I pretended that I saw it, and I just as a joke, I wrote on Facebook, I said, "Oh my God, I can't believe Han Solo died in this one." Just as a joke, because Han Solo is one of the characters I know, and then turns out it was the movie where Han Solo dies. I got like death threats,
like hate mail.
Yeah, and people like deleted me off Facebook for that.
No hate mail here. Nothing but love for our stand-up comics on Friday at 4:20. Yannis Pappas, I want to thank you, first of all, for doing this. This is awesome. Tell me, again, History Hyenas is the podcast, right? How often do you guys post a new edition?
We do 2 episodes a week. We got a Patreon where we do the morning show, Wepa in the morning, if you want to wake up with a funny morning show. It's worth it. Trust me. Patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys. That's me and Chris DiStefano. Check it out. History Hyenas podcast. Appreciate it, Hamilton, Ontario.
Yannis, what time is that morning show? What time do you run that from?
9 a.m. Eastern live on patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys.
Excellent. Check out our good friend Yannis Pappas. Can't wait until you can come back again to the Hammer and make fun of us in person. We would love it. Best of luck to you there in Westchester, and good luck with the baby on the way. That is fantastic news, brother.
Thank you, man. I love Hamilton. I always have a good time there, and I love you guys. Appreciate it.
Yannis, how do we follow you on social media? One last piece there. Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram, Yannis Pappas, as you see on the screen, just all one word, or Google me. You know, if you don't know how to find me in today's world, I don't know what to tell you. You live in Dagestan or something. So, just put the name Yannis Pappas in there, and I'll come up.
He'll come up. He's the only Yannis Pappas there is. Manolis Dantanos, what do you want to say, brother, as we close this edition out?
I want to say, Steve, my buddy Steve would kill me if I didn't say Steve Gerrita is a huge fan of you, Yannis, and he would want me to say hi. You were talking to him on your show not that long ago. He had the girl penis t-shirt on.
Oh, yeah, Steve. Oh, yeah, I remember that. He had your t-shirt on. Yeah, so what's up, Steve? Yeah. And, well, you know what's funny is this is Enigma inside of Enigma inside of Enigma. because he's a fan of me, but I'm a fan of you, and you're telling me about him. So, I mean, this is what we call an old Texas stand-up. I'm a fan of Manolis. So what do you want me to do, Steve? Should I say hello to Manolis? And I got to say, Steve, you got to really up your taste, because if I'm on a radio show that's local in Hamilton, you got to get better people that you're a fan of.
He's killing it. He's killing it.
I'm kidding. Hamilton is the epicenter of entertainment.
My buddy owns a store called Vintage Soul Geek. It's going to be open June 2nd again. So support his store, because there's nothing. Everything's closed anyway. So now this is open. You go buy a shirt.
June 2nd, Vintage Soul Geek opening in Hamilton. Patrick Coppolino, any closing thoughts from you, my friend?
Yeah, he needs a roommate. His wife's moving out.
Yeah. Besides that, go to levitycomedyclub.com. There's still no show dates.
So what's the point? Hey guys, thank you so much for this edition of Friday at 420. It's been awesome hanging out with you. Take care of yourselves, and we look forward to seeing you again in another week. Have an awesome weekend.
Woo!